And now, Barack Obama.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we can. Today, I have brought all the bright minds together from the economic realm in order to discuss our current financial status as a country. First, I want to hear your thoughts about how we're doing. Tell us your thoughts, Paul Krugman.
Well, thank you for having me here today, Obama. Like I told you 4 years ago, we need more fiscal policy. I told you, we need to be more aggressive. Suck the taxes out of the people. We need to spend more. You need a bigger stimulus package. Do you want to know why we're having problems with our health care? Because we are not spending enough. We need to be aggressive. We need to go after it. If we're not being aggressive, Obama, we're not going to get things done.
Well, Krugman, I must say that I absolutely disagree with what you're talking about. I think that we are spending too much and our deficit is too high and we need to give more tax cuts to the rich and to everyone. We need to have a more open market economy. We need to have more laissez-faire capitalism. If we want a true democratic republic, then we must have a laissez-faire system. We can't keep spending more and more money of these taxpayers' money. Just going to raise the taxes, and it's just not fair to the rich who earned all this money to be taxed that much. So therefore, I think we need more privatization and we need less public system works. We need to make sure that the money stays with the people.
Greenspan, you are wrong again. Like I said, we cannot have laissez-faire. Macroeconomic stabilization is only through fiscal or monetary policy. We can't have laissez-faire because the people need their government. It's not possible to attain full employment rate. We can't do that. Market failures, it happens. We can have a prediction of what's going to happen in the future. It's going to be our best guess. And whatever that prediction is, the best guess, that's what it should be. And anything that strays from the path of that prediction is because an error in a random error, because we're all humans. But if we stick to this model, and we stick on this path, and we don't have rational perceptions, we will make it. And the people need us. They need their government. So we need fiscal policy. Or we need monetary policy. We have to do something. Because that's going to lead to a more efficient macroeconomic outcome, rather than this silly laissez-faire stuff that you're talking about. You know what happened when you had unregulation in the market? We had an economic crisis.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Krugman, what would you say to Greenspan?
Well, Obama, here are my thoughts. Greenspan, you always suggest to leave the barn door open, and then once the horse is out of its barn, you start giving us lectures on how we're supposed to keep our animals locked up. When we had the Bush administration and we decided to, reduce tax, when we had tax cuts, it increased the deficit, and then we didn't improve the economy. So we were enlarging our deficit without improving the economy. That's like a lose-lose. So, and what also happened is that we enriched the wealthy, and then that worsened the economic distribution. So we had really, really, really rich people and really, really, really poor people. And that is not what America is about. This is about equality, and we need to remember that.
As you all know, I am a politician. I am not an economist, but I believe that we should be asking ourselves what mix of policies will lead to a dynamic free market and widespread economic security that will have innovation and upward mobility. We should be guided by works. Even though I do believe in a more Keynesian belief of an economic system, I believe that we somewhat need to mix our ideas together. Greenspan, you obviously do not have a Keynesian sensibility. You're definitely more geared towards the classical motive, but at the same time, that possibly could have led to the reason why we have the 2008 crisis. What are your thoughts on that? I am no longer the chairman of the Federal Reserve, and I don't really think I should talk about that.
Well, now that we're on the subject of policies and how to implement a certain policy, we need to keep something in mind. In my experience, economic policies, the experiment of it, needs to be looked at from a microeconomic view, because the macro model should be an aggregation of the micro model. We need to keep in mind that each individual person has their own behaviors, has their own preferences, and then that is what we need to take into consideration. So we need to predict what individuals will do and then aggregate all those individual decisions to calculate the macro effects of the policy change that we're going to make.
Well, Robert E. Lucas Jr., I understand where you're coming from, but I just don't see how this is going to work when we want to finance healthcare. This is going to be a great big budget, and it's just going to cause more problems because either we'll increase the taxes or we'll increase government spending, or both. Either way, that's going to increase inflation, which will also increase prices. So in the long run, we might just have another economic crisis on our hands from an economy that has collapsed. I just don't think that we should make public health care. I think it should stay privatized. I think we should privatize Social Security. But that's already down the tubes anyway. But that's my opinion. I say nay to the healthcare financing.
Yes, Greenspan, because your deregulation of the 2008 crisis worked so well, didn't it? You and Mr. Phil Gramm were basically the cause of the subprime crisis in 2008. Anyways, besides that little unimportant fact, we need to look at the problem at hand. We need to understand how to finance this health system that we have. We need to make it more available to our citizens, to the people that we represent. And everyone deserves free public health care. Now, how are we going to finance that? I think that we should increase taxes, have more money in order to allow government spending on healthcare, and yes, that might increase our deficit. But you know what? An increase in deficit and a little bit of inflation is much better than decreasing the taxes. That's going to be a permanent thing instead of a little temporary increase in government spending, and overall, in the end, we're going to be better off. So, I say that we need to tax the crap out of our citizens and give them public health care.
Kruger, Lucas, I agree with you guys, 100%. However, Greenspan, I'm not necessarily on the same board as you. I think that we can't really trust you as an economist anymore. I say, to finance this new healthcare system, we should increase taxes and increase government spending. What do you guys say?
I say yay. Yay!
Meh.
And the verdict is...
Well, praise Allah, I mean God, I think we have a decision. Thank you, Economic Council, and I hope that we can come out of this crisis head first.